In this video, we're going to take a look at 3 societies or people groups whose belief systems or actions have involved a minimalistic approach to life. African tribe. In the African subcontinent, many live a much more fulfilled life through minimalism. They might not call it as such, sharing resources and conserving them to make things last longer. Such a lifestyle by default reduces waste. An example would be the country of Rwanda. The country of Rwanda banned plastic bags. This caused a rethink on products and how it's manufactured all along the supply chain. Hindu sages. The Indian subcontinent is very diverse, and no doubt you will see extreme expressions of beliefs in this diversity. Culturally, the colors are vibrant and pop out compared to the Western understanding and interpretation of minimalism. In this subcontinent, the ultimate expression of minimalism can be found in yoga. Here in the West, what we consider yoga is actually a form of asana, more particularly yoga asana, a form of exercise to relax and de-stress. But in a traditional sense, yoga actually strives to the form of asceticism. It's a severe form of self-discipline and a heavy avoidance of self-indulgence. This seeks to zero out all emotions, desires, ego clinging, and attachments. The goal of yoga is essentially to make your mind become zero. On a side note, you can see how Indians actually created or developed the number 0. This is a very deep spiritual and philosophical discussion for another time. As per the traditional Hindu belief system, when you become a yogi and practice yoga, you must reject all responsibilities and duties of all stages of life. This also requires a rejection of religious beliefs, meaning that you have to burn copies of your religious text as a symbol of rejecting their role as maintained by the cosmos. This is very complicated and extremely deep, so it's a discussion for another time, but I hope this gives you a quick introduction to how minimalism exists in the Indian subcontinent historically and from a philosophical/spiritual perspective. The Japanese form of minimalism. The Japanese sense of simplicity and minimalism comes from the traditional culture of Zen philosophy. This philosophy has manifested itself into various kinds of design and architectural sides. The Japanese principle of Ma can be seen in its minimalism. Principle of Ma refers to the negative space that exists between two objects. It is supposed to help the person imagine or create an experience that exists between the two objects. Another concept that influences Japanese minimalism is the philosophy of Wabi-Sabi. This is the idea that life is very fragile, fleeting, and filled with imperfections. Hence, there is beauty in simplicity, imperfection, and incompleteness. That's having an appreciation for the natural process that life has on an object, person, or thing. You can see this expression of minimalism in various traditional and contemporary sides of Japanese culture. For example, getting rid of everything and only keeping the bare essentials. In some cases, you would see homes with chairs, but they don't have any legs, or you would see no chairs at all. Today, you can see this further in architecture and also finding its way today in design and technology and how we use certain technologies. In Christianity, historically, Christians lived their lives within their means and had a very frugal lifestyle. The Bible itself has many minimalistic ideals and urges people to live life simply and to give freely out of their abundance. Jesus himself warned against the gathering of possessions. The book of Luke chapter 12 verse 15, he says, "Watch out, be on guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist of the abundance of possessions." Jesus then goes on to explain in a parable how gathering of possessions might not be worth it if you're just going to die that very night. Earlier in a few chapters, Jesus even actually gives a recommendation on how people who are preaching the gospel must live their life. It is a very minimalistic approach, and if you want to read more about it, read Luke chapter 9. Hence, you can see minimalistic approaches in roots of Christianity in various Protestant denominations and in Christian monks. The closest that is widely known of Christian simplicity here in North America is the Amish community. They are known as the plain people. They live simply within their means, they dress plainly, they avoid technology as much as possible, and they live in communities with shared beliefs. They build their own tools, stitch their own clothes, and grow their own food. The essence of the society is live simply and live within your means. And if you make a little extra, provide something for the market or the people around you. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on how minimalism is expressed in various parts of the world. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more on this topic. I can make this into a little mini series. On a side note, keep in mind that minimalism and maximalism, it has a very different connotation in the context of the Bible. So when you're looking it up from a biblical perspective, like you probably run into a totally different connotation and meaning to what minimalism and maximalism means in the context of the Bible. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.